Is your GPU overheating? Well, we've got the solution for you. This magic stuff called thermal pads. We're gonna slap some on there. But guess what GPU we're gonna be doing today? We're gonna be doing this one. The RTX 3090. We're gonna take this apart, put the replace the thermal pads, and put it back together. So let's get started.
Why is it like that?
All right, we're gonna start by taking some tape, anything that'll stick. You're gonna get these little feet off. Make sure you put them where you know they go, because each foot is specific for each spot. Once you got these 4 little tabs off, you take this middle piece off, just pry it up, something flat. Don't pry it too hard, you'll break it.
Don't use anything metal either.
Yeah. Just kind of finagle it out of there. It's magnetic, so. Once you have those plastic pieces off, then get you a bit that fits these screws. These 4 screws are different than these 4 screws over here. These 4 screws are T4 Torx. These 4 screws right here are a Phillips head. You can use a PH0 size to get these out. Once you get that piece off, then get a little flat edge to take this plastic piece off. Once you've got these 4 screws out over here and these 4 screws out over here, you can go ahead and take this panel off. That's the thermal pads we'll be replacing. We're gonna take these thermal pads off and put them on the back of the plate.
Sometimes they'll stick and you just need to remember where they'll go. Those won't be the only ones you replace. There'll be some more on the other side as well.
Yeah.
The 3090
has them on both sides.
Yeah, it's double-sided. The 3080 and the 3070 only have memory chips on the back side. You also won't have to replace the pads on the 3070 unless you want to, but the high memory temps is only a problem on the 3080 and the 3090 that have the DDR6X memory. It just clocks higher and it just gets really hot, and these Fujimali pads that come stock on the 3080 and the 3090 are just not cut out for the amount of heat that's being put out by the memory. We did the 3080 already, and it's not that bad. This one's gonna be way more difficult. So if you need to do the 3080, it's pretty much the same process, except you're gonna have, you're not gonna have as many thermal pads on this front side that Jared's doing.
So we're gonna set this part aside for now, and we'll go ahead and replace all the pads on this side. All right, once we replace the thermal pads on the back panel, we'll move this to the side, and we'll bring the GPU back over here. Next, we're gonna take off the I/O plate. You have 6 screws on the back side, all Torx, and you got one up here that we're gonna have to take out. You will need a Torx 9 to take these back 6 off. Once we have those 6 side screws out, we'll take this last screw out. It's also a Torx 9. Once that screw is out, you can remove this IO shield, set it aside, keep your screws separate. And then we need to take this wire out and this wire out. Oh, we also need to take this wire out. So clean your pliers, lift up, we'll start here. There's a little black piece on the back side you're gonna lift up.
Pliers.
So once that pops open, then you can take these wires out. Just lightly grab them, wiggle them out. You push this little metal shield back. Once that is pushed back, you can grab these wires or the plug and lift up first. So you're gonna lift like this and then pull out. You lift the back black piece up. Until it pops up like that. You grab the wire at the connection and then you wiggle it out. Perfect. Next, we have to take this bracket off. I do 4 turns just so it's not too much. And then you go diagonal. Then you go again until you completely remove all the screws. Once you have this bracket off, go ahead and set it aside. Keep it safe, you definitely don't want to lose that.
Got it, there you go.
Scary. All right, so I'm going to, where's my pliers? Going to take this pad off. All right, so we're gonna replace all these pads and this small pad right here. So the camera died. What we're doing is cleaning off the thermal paste from the blocks, the die, the chips, and the memory, and all the other stuff that has thermal paste on it. You want to be gentle. You don't want to mess anything up, obviously. Make sure to use plenty of alcohol, not too much, not too little. This is the thermal paste we got.
You want to put a good amount since it's a GPU, but this start in the middle and just put like probably like a pea size. good. And then take your scraper and just make sure it's a good amount.
Okay, once we got the thermal paste on there, we are going to take the plastic off of these thermal pads. Make sure you take them off every single one, or your GPU will probably catch on fire. And that's not good. Once that is taken care of, we put this baby back on there. Shoot. Make sure your wires are out of the way. Make sure your holes are lined up. Set that puppy down. Should fall into place. There we go. Now take this little fancy bracket, place it back on there. Grab your handy dandy screwdriver, and we are going to replace the screws in this. So just get everyone started. Okay, once they're all started, then we're gonna go about 3 turns diagonally to tighten them. And they'll stop, so you can't, when you're hand tightening them, you can't over tighten them, but if you use them, don't use something else. Just don't.
Just get it hand tight. There is a torque rating, but you're fine.
Hand tight's fine. Once you have those 4 screws back in, we're gonna get these wires. We're going to plug them back in. Just wiggle it. Once it's in there, you fold this little black piece down and lock it. And then we'll set this wire back in its spot. Push it down and then push this little metal gate back. Lock that back. Then put this 3rd wire back in. And lock that gate back. Perfect.
Perfect.
And then, once we have that, we take this thing, and then push these little tabs back. Set this plate on here like this. We will grab our screwdriver and our small screws. But we have to change our torques back to a 9. T9. grab your little screws. Get our Torx, our last Torx screw back into here. Then we are ready to take the plastic off of these thermal pads. Yay! Once those plastics are off of those thermal pads, then we can make sure our screws in, wires in, wires in, wires in. Make sure they're all locked down. Then we flip this pad over, make sure none of the pads fall off because that'd be detrimental. Then we set this plate back onto where it was. Once we have our plate back on, we can go ahead and get the screws. You'll need a, what, number 0 Phillips head. We'll take the screws, put them in the hole, tighten it down just a little bit, just a little bit. Take these screws, tighten them down just a little bit. Not much, tiger. Make sure you put it in the right hole. It can only go in one hole. Can't go that way. And then we're going to switch bits to I think it's a number 6. Yes, back to the number 6 Torx, because we don't want to tighten these down and then this plate is lifted up over here on this side. So we'll get all these started, then we'll tighten them down. Started. Okay, it's just not a number 6. It's a number 5. It's gotta be, huh? Yes, number 5. Much better. Tighten that one down just a little bit. Insert into hole.
Whoa.
Tighten it down just a little bit. And tighten that one down all the way. Almost all the way. Bump this one. And then just make sure they're all tight. Get your Phillips head back on here. Now we're going to tighten these. Don't over tighten them. Just get them snug. Once that has occurred, take your bit, because you won't need your bit no more. Take this little slidey piece. Not the old thermal pads, gross.
Slidey piece.
Take this slidey piece, put the thing back in there. Then you take this little nasty gooba. Nah, see, we don't put it this way, we put it this way. Use the fork first. Put it in there. And then turn it down. Bam, look at that. Now, we get back to our little pieces over here. Make sure you have the right ones. Make sure you know which one goes where because they're all different. And they will just fall in place because they're magnetic. See, perfect. And come on. You can do it. Now to our last one. Oh, one more. Come on. Oh, Grandma.